Welcome to the third session of Module 4 in Information Theory and Coding. So, previous session we were discussing about the generation of code word by using the message bits. So, we have seen that the first k bits of our code words are nothing but the message bits only. So, we are using this equation Ci is equal to Di for I varying between 1 to k. In order to generate the remaining check bits, that is Ck plus 1 up to Cn, we will be using these algebraic equations. So everywhere you can see that for generation of Ck plus 1, we will be using D1 to Dk. Similarly, for generation of Ck plus 2, we will be using D1 to Dk, and for generation of Cn also we will be using D1 to Dk. But these data bits are multiplied by some coefficient value. So P11 is due to the fact that it is a subscript extracted from D and C. So if I consider the subscript of D first, this would be 1 here. Subscript of D is 1 over here. Subscript of D is 1 over here. Similarly, subscript of 2, D is 2 taken in the second column. Right? Similarly, in the third column, we have the coefficient of P as 3 corresponding to the data bit 3. And we have one more coefficient for all these, one more subscript for all these coefficients, which is extracted from the corresponding code word value. For the coefficient of Ck plus 1, if I say add minus k, its coefficient would be 1, which is used as a subscript of P. Similarly, k plus 1 minus k will give me 1, which is taken as a subscript for the second term of this coefficient, that is P21, right? Similarly, in Ck plus 2, if I say minus k, that will give me 2 everywhere in the coefficient. Similarly, if you consider Cn, if I k n minus k, that becomes n minus k is my subscript that will be taken in the entire algebraic equation. So this is how we are going to generate the code word bits C1 to Cn. So these coefficients Pij will either take a value of 0 or they will take a value of 1, and they will always use modulo 2 arithmetic. So modulo 2 arithmetic means whenever you are doing multiplication, treat it as an AND gate. Whenever you are doing addition, treat it as a OR gate. That will be a modulo 2 arithmetic. So that entire algebraic equation I can represent in this matrix form. C is equal to D into this particular matrix. For example, to generate the first bit C1, what I will do is I will multiply this entire row matrix with the first column. In the first column I have only single 1, therefore only D1 will appear here. If D1 is equal to 1, result of multiplication would be 1. If D1 is equal to 0, result of multiplication would be 0. So I am getting only D1 as my result. Therefore C1 is equal to D1. And to obtain the second one, I will multiply the first row with this entire row matrix with the second column. That gives me only D2 because I have only 1 and remaining all bits are 0, right? Similarly, third term is nothing but D3 and fourth term is nothing but Dk and so on. But when it comes to k plus 1, Ck plus 1, it is nothing but D11 P12, D2 P21, D3 P31, like that, and we are going to multiply, and finally Dk Pn by n1, that is my coefficient value. So in this way we can generate all the code words simply by multiplying message bits with this particular matrix. Now if you can observe this matrix, it is this part of the matrix will be like your identity matrix. Therefore I can say that this is an identity matrix of the order k, and the remaining part of the matrix can be treated as a parity matrix. So this entire matrix can be represented as Ik and P, which is actually a parity matrix, and the combination can be treated as a generator matrix because this matrix will help us in generating the code word. So with these notations I can say that C is nothing but D into G, where G is called as a generator matrix and P is called as a parity matrix. Now let us consider an example how to generate a code word. A 6,3 linear code has the following generator matrix. So 6,3 linear code is nothing but it is n, k linear code. So with that notation n value is 6 and k value is equal to 3. Since k value is equal to 3, you will have 2 power 3, that is 8 different combinations of the message, and your code word length should be equal to 6. So among those 8 combinations of the data, let me consider one of the combination and explain this. Similarly, we can extend the same concept to the remaining 7 combinations. Let us take D is equal to 0, 1, 1. So if I take D is equal to 0, 1, 1, my D will appear here. I am performing D into G for generation of C. Okay. So if it is 0, 1, 1, just multiply 0, 1, 1, you will get first bit as 0, multiply 0, 1, 1 with the second row, that will give me 1, right? And multiply D with the third column, that will give me 1 again. Multiply D with the fourth column, that will give me 0 plus 1 plus 1, which is actually 0. 1 plus 1 is equal to 0. So this is 0 because we are not using the carry scheme over here. And if I multiply 1, 0, 1 with this 0, 1, 1, this will give me 1, that becomes the fifth bit. Again multiplication of this 0, 1, 1 with the last column will give me 1. Therefore, your code word corresponding to the message 0, 1, 1 would be 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, which is simply obtained by multiplying this D with the given generator matrix. So we have another way to generate this code word. So what I can do is just multiply 0 with the first row, that is first bit with the first row, second bit with the second row, and third bit with the third row. Okay. So 0 multiplied with the first bit, everything will be 0. We are multiplying 1 with the second row, therefore we will rewrite the second row as it is 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, and multiply 1, that is third bit of D, with the third row. So I will get the third row as it is, that is 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0. So now if you add them together, you will be getting 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, which is same as the code whatever you will obtain by multiplying this D with the G. Okay, so this is the code word. Similarly, consider D is equal to 0, 0, 0 and obtain what is your code C by performing D into G. Go for the other combination 0, 0, 1, obtain C as D into G. Go for one more combination 0, 1, 0, multiply 0, 1, 0 data with G, you will get C once again, right? So you can go up to all the combinations, that is up to 1, 1, 1. This is how you are going to generate. So we have seen how to generate the code word with the help of a generator matrix. So let us have some remarks over this type of error detection method. Here if we want to generate the code word, we have seen that we are multiplying D with the G. So in G, the coefficient values are unknown to the user. So in order to generate the code word, our encoder has to store G, then only for a given data D, it can generate the code word C. So in G, at least P it has to store, because we know that our G is represented as IK and P. IK is nothing but the identity matrix that we will be knowing. Therefore, at least P, that is parity matrix part, has to be stored at the encoder in order to perform any binary arithmetic and generate the check bits. As the number of message bits increases, K, n value should also increase. and as n increases, the computation complexity will also increase. These are some of the disadvantage of using this method in order to generate the check bits. However, in this particular method, it is even possible for us to identify the error and even to correct the error. So for that error detection purpose, we will be using a matrix called as parity check matrix. Now let us see how to represent that parity check matrix H from the given parity matrix P itself. Okay. So for each n comma k block code, the parity check matrix will be of the order n minus k into n, and it has two parts again. One is our parity matrix and another is our identity matrix. So in G we know that we have ik and p. Take that p, write its transpose over here. That will be the first part of our parity check matrix, that is transpose of parity matrix, and remaining part is nothing but I of the order n minus k, that is identity matrix of the order n minus k. And this H can be used to verify if the code word is generated by G or not. Suppose C is a code word which is generated by G, then C into H transpose would give me 0. Okay. If C is a code word which is not generated by the proper generator matrix, then C into H transpose would be a non-zero value. Okay. So if you are using checking for this particular property, then make sure that whatever the parity matrix you are using in G, the same parity matrix is taken and its transpose is written in order to generate H value, and that H transpose is taken for the calculation here. Okay, you cannot use two different parity matrix, one for generation of code word and another for identifying the error. You have to use the same parity matrix both at the encoding part and at the decoding part as well. So from the discussion it is very clear that we have two important matrices associated. One is the generator matrix G, which we will be using for encoding, that is C is equal to D into G, and we will be using H for decoding, that is C into H transpose is equal to 0. In both G and H we will be using the same parity matrix. G is ik and p, H is p transpose and in minus k. Those are the two different matrices that you need to remember. Generally G and H might not be given completely while solving the problem. You will be provided with only parity matrix P. So if P is given, write your own G, that is ik and P, that gives you G, and try to generate H, that is as P transpose and in minus k. So generate G and H in order to perform encoding and decoding operation. Now let us consider R is a representation used for a received vector. R generally is nothing but a received vector which consists of the transmitted code word and the error, if any error occurred during its transmission. When E is equal to 0, that clearly says that there is no error or noise added to the data during its transmission. Therefore, R value is nothing but C. Now, in order to identify if the received vector is error free, generally we will calculate a vector called as a syndrome vector. So we have seen that always our C into H transpose value is equal to 0. Therefore, we will use that property for syndrome vector calculation and the conclusion. So how will we calculate our syndrome vector? Syndrome vector is generally calculated by multiplying the received code vector with H transpose. Received code vector, we know that it is nothing but the transmitted code vector plus the noise whatever is added during the transmission, that is C plus E. Therefore, R is replaced here as C plus E, and we will write H transpose as it is. Now this becomes C into H transpose and E into H transpose. However, we know that C into H transpose is equal to 0, right? So that we discussed here in this previous slide. Now if I substitute C into H transpose is equal to 0, my syndrome is nothing but E into H transpose. As we know, E is nothing but the noise which was added during the signal transmission. If there is no noise, then E is equal to 0. If E is equal to 0, syndrome will also be equal to 0. If E is non-zero, syndrome is also non-zero. Therefore, at the receiving end, what we have to do is multiply R with H transpose and check whether this particular multiplication will give you 0 or non-zero value. If you get syndrome to be 0, then received code vector is same as the transmitted code vector. If syndrome is non-zero, it clearly says that received code vector has some errors in it. Therefore, its value is not same as the transmitted code vector C. That is, R is not equal to C. That is what we are saying here. Therefore, for error-free data, we require syndrome S to be equal to 0. Otherwise, S is non-zero value.